everybody for taking the time, the hour this morning to join me. Whether it be good morning, good afternoon, or evening, wherever you're at in the world. Introduction to SSIS. We're going to go ahead and from top to bottom build ourselves a simple package. We'll walk through what we're doing with that. So if you accidentally signed up for a different webinar, this is the moment to drop. I'm not going to be good at showing you how to crochet things or how to bowl a 300. We're just going to focus on SSIS today. So right into it, what exactly is SSIS? Well, it's a Microsoft tool, business intelligence tool. And we see that ETL noted there. This is a common term that you're going to see in this world of package development and integration services. Definitions right there for you: extract, transfer, and load. That's what it stands for. A couple of other business intelligence tools for Microsoft are going to be analysis services and reporting services. You see just underneath. The reason for utilizing this Microsoft's SSIS is because we can tap into many different types of sources, many different connections of different types. Just to throw a couple out there: Oracle, DB2, Excel files, text. We can acquire data from many different sources. We can modify, transform, clean that information, and then send it out to many different types of destinations, to SQL Server tables, Oracle databases, or like the inverse, just as the sources, to like Excel tables. When we're working with SSIS, the user interface that we're going to be in is with Visual Studios. You'll see BIDS and SSDT, Business Intelligence Design Studio, and then SQL Server Data Tools. These are the two, SQL Server 2005, 2008 references BIDS, and then 2012 and 2014 utilizes SSDT. Very different names, but we're talking about the same things. And this is the interface that we work in. This is how we develop and create packages. This is just a small snippet of what Visual Studio 2012 looks like, and that is what we're going to be looking at today and what we're going to be using for the demonstration. Specifically, the organization for an SSIS project, it's threefold. It's very simple. At the top level, we have a solution. A solution is a bucket that can house many different types of projects. I showed you in the previous slide analysis services and reporting services. Those are also types of projects that can be done. So in one solution, you can have various types of projects within them. Or you can just have multiple SSIS projects. So we see here, solution, you pick your project type. We're going to be using the SSIS, the Integration Services Project option. And then whatever project you decide, that's where you get to the lowest level of detail. For us, we're going to be creating packages for reporting services. You'd create reports, analysis services, a cube. So this is the layout. This is how you define where the workspace you're going to be utilizing. In those SSIS packages, there's two main portions. This is at the top level, very generic, but the first is going to be a control flow. This is going to be the area of the designer that handles the order of operations of the flow or the tasks. It signifies what steps are going to be first and second and so forth, or if things are going to happen at the same time. One of the tasks within the control flow is actually going to be a data flow task. This is where we actually are going to be doing that ETL work. This is where we point to a source, we bring that data in, we do that transformation, and finally we send it off to wherever we'd like that to be housed, or so it can be viewed, consumed at the end user level. In regards to those two main portions of it, I'm just going to kind of list out some basic terminology here, terms that are going to be used in our demonstration today. It's going to be a topical explanation only because a lot of these items, it's viewing that with the definition that really brings it to life. Looking first at the control flow, we can see we have tasks. I already mentioned the data flow task. That's one of the primary ones that's utilized, but there are other ones. Popular ones are execute SQL tasks. I'll show you that when we take a tour of Visual Studios. In the control flow, we have items known as precedence constraints. This is what allows us to define that order of operations. and exactly how that's going to be performed, whether it's going to be one thing at a time and this is the order of it, or if we want some things to happen at the same time. That's known as sequential or in parallel. The last item for control flow I've listed is containers. It's somewhat difficult to not use the word contain in containers, but think of it as a bucket, something that can house multiple tasks within that, so you can execute. That container represents all the tasks in there. Those items must either succeed or fail, or whatever type of precedent constraint you place there. Those all execute at one time. So I'll show you that as well. The data flow, we have transformations. Sometimes people just kind of call them the components, but they're the items that we utilize to do that cleansing, make those, modifying that data in whatever sense or form, adding columns. We have sources as well and destinations. This is that extract, the E and the L, the load portion of it. It's where we point to servers, SQL servers for instance, so we can gather that information and then write it back. Specifically in regards to those last two terms, sources and destinations, under this common, you're going to see we have connection managers. That's utilized for items in the control flow as well as data flows, but this is how we give direction as to exactly where we're pointing, where we're going to be acquiring this information, and as well where are we going to be sending this information off to. Variables is listed here. We're actually not going to incorporate it into our demonstration today, but variables are basically user-defined containers in which you can explicitly list hard lines. You can input specific values, or in that last term, you can utilize expressions to then populate values in there. I'll show that once we get into the design pane. These are some of the things that we're gonna see and hear once we get into that demonstration. And since we do kind of have a time constraint, there's only one more slide for those of you who might be following along with us. It's the parameters of what we're going to be doing today for the demonstration. I'm going to be using SSIS 2012, specifically Visual Studio's 2012. It's a standalone addition to it. So if you're using just Visual Studio's 2010, the SSDT that comes with it, very similar. Those of you who might be utilizing SQL 2005 or 8, I'll take a brief moment in the beginning of Visual Studios to explain some of the differences, but we're not going to focus on that today. We're going to be utilizing the AdventureWorks 2012 database. It's an open source data set that's available for anyone to use, very popular as far as testing and development. Specifically, we're going to be working in the production.product table. What we're going to be doing it to